Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everybody's doing great today. In this video I'll be showing you 3 custom houses in 3 different biomes that you can build to survive your first night of Minecraft in style. I'm going to split each house up into a simple version where I build the necessary things to survive, and after that I'll show you what you can do just to make the house look a bit more appealing and make it look a little bit more functional. Now I warn you guys beforehand, these houses are not going to be the most efficient designs there are, as there are plenty houses already out there. I rather am focusing on making the houses look a little bit more homey and making them suit the biome that they are built in. So if you are the person that is willing to put a little bit more time into making that first dirt house look more awesome than it already is, then how about we get right into it? Now, the first thing that pretty much everybody does on the first night of Minecraft is dig a hole to first of all get cobble and to later go on all the way down to mine those awesome diamonds that you need for that diamond pickaxe. Doing this though, you run into the problem of a creeper sneaking up on you and blowing up that little tunnel that you spent so much time on. So, how can you prevent this? By building the good old classic dirt house. What I'm doing here is placing normal and coarse dirt in a random pattern around the hole that I've dug so that the floor is 1 by 2 blocks large. Placing the blocks in a random pattern can be a little hard for some of you guys, I'm sure, but I know that with a little practice anyone is able to do this. Make sure that the ceiling is 2 blocks high and leave a small gap at the side so that you have a small window to look out when you arrive at the surface after your mining session. Finish it all off by placing a door at the entrance of the house and add some wooden fences at the top with a torch to light it all up and give it a little bit more variance. Now believe it or not guys, this is actually the entire house done, and I'm sure it will give you a little bit of protection on your first night. For the interior I tried to go for a cave theme where I placed some chests to the one side and the furnaces to the other. To make the inside look a little bit more detailed, I threw in some cobblestone half slabs and stairs as well as 1 or 2 gravel blocks. I think this makes the build feel a bit more like a mine and complements the dirt house at the top very well. Of course, a boring old dirt house does not look very fancy when you have guests over, so I'll make the exterior look more appealing and make it fit into the environment. First off, add a lake, since these are just plain awesome. What you can do next is add a few sugar canes around it, which in turn allows you to later harvest some to craft paper that you will need for those books. If you have a swamp close by, get yourself some lily pads and place them in there as well. What you want to do next is harvest some leaves and place them again in a random pattern around the house so that it makes it look more overgrown and incorporated into the environment. What I'm doing here is replacing some of that dirt of the house with podzol to add some more texture and color. I am aware that podzol can be hard to come by early on in the game, so just use gravel if you don't have access to this. Place a cobblestone wall around an area next to the house and plant some crops that you can harvest later for food. Lastly, I placed some torches on fences around the house to light it all up, and replace that wooden door with an iron one to give you some more protection at night. Now you have yourself an awesome little dirt house which you can even keep for a little longer than 1 or 2 days. Alright, moving on to the next house, which is built in the desert. Since sand is abundant here, I focused mainly on using sandstone for this house. To break up the typical box shape that almost all houses have, I extruded half of the wall on one side, which I think gives it a little bit more depth. Place some smooth sandstone blocks around the corners and raise the walls up by 3 blocks. On the ceiling I placed some sandstone stairs just to give it some more shape, as well as some slabs to break up the texture. Here you can see me placing a small trim above one side of the house and a door underneath it. Next, just go around the house and add a few windows, since glass really shouldn't be too hard to come by in a desert. Place a few more slabs around the house to add some details and continue the trimming around the house. Lastly, place that skeleton skull in front of the door that you collected while killing that charged creeper, and you're good to go. I kept the interior very simple inside this house, with a bed to one side and a couple of furnaces next to the door. What you can do is place some chests on trapdoors, as this makes it look like they are placed on a shelf. The ladder next to the window leads down to the mine where you can spend your first nights, and the painting adds a little bit of detail to the flat wall. I placed some acacia logs on the floor and alternated the direction they are pointing in to add some more texture, and I think the grey complements the yellow of the sandstone very well. Now again, to make this house look a bit more lived in, just add a small lake, since they're awesome. To mix it up a bit, add a small trench where the water can flow down. The blue complements the yellow of the sandstone very well and also gives you a handy unlimited source of water when you need it. If you have access to some dead bushes, you can place them around the water, as well as some cacti. The stone buttons make it seem like little pebbles are lying around the water, which also adds some detail to the environment. Another thing you can do is add a little porch of acacia logs to match the interior, and some slabs to make it easier to walk up the hill. Add some torches on fences to light up the place and fence in a small area towards the back of the house to keep some cows or other animals for that precious leather or food. Please remember to add a water source for the animals, since this is a desert after all and you don't want them to die from dehydration. Alright, and there you have it. This house should give you enough protection for the first couple of days. As a last addition, you could also extend the ladder of the mine inside so that you are able to get on the roof and defend yourself when the sun sets. For the last house, I focused on a snow biome. In hindsight, I can say that I wouldn't enjoy building a house in this biome, since you are quite limited with the things that you can do, and the lake that you build here would actually freeze over, which isn't awesome. I chose an igloo for the house, since the abundant material here are snowballs. You can make a quick snow farm if you have a pumpkin, and then you are pretty much good to go to build the house. I first started with a 2-block high entrance to give it that typical igloo look. After that, I went around and created a Minecraft circle to form the walls. I raised these up by 2 and then started closing the large hole at the top by placing the blocks one in from the wall. At this point I realized that the height of the igloo was too small, and to not rebuild the entire structure, I simply lowered the floor by 1 block, which most igloos have anyway. I added spruce planks as a floor, since this gave the house more color than just white from the snow. The next part, again, can be a little tricky for some players, but I'm sure that you will be able to handle this. I randomly placed some snow blocks around and on the igloo to roughen it up and to make it a little bit more natural. The next step might cost you a bit of time and snow, however I'm sure that it is worth it. Go around and place snow layers on top of each other to make the gradient of the walls look less steep. I think this adds a lot of depth to the house and makes it look a lot cooler. In the end, I added a little door as a protection, and you're pretty much good to go. For the inside, I used that trick with the trapdoors again to make it seem like the chest is sitting on the shelf. Just be careful not to overload the chest with those iron blocks you have collected, as you will be sleeping under it. I kept the interior very simple in here, since you are quite limited with the blocks that you can place to match the snow walls. However, I placed some chests on the one side and some furnaces with the crafting table on the other. Next to the bed, I added some ladders again, which will lead you to a mine or even a small cellar where you can add some more storage. To improve the house, I built a small animal pen where you can keep your tamed animals. Make sure to place a torch close to the water source though, which I forgot, otherwise it will freeze over. Replace some snow layers with snow blocks to make it seem like the snow has been trampled on around the pen, and add a few spruce logs just outside, which you have cut down from nearby trees. On the other side of the igloo, I created a small farm that you can grow enough food to survive in this harsh biome, and place some torches around the area to light it all up. Remember to cover the water source with a block like a hay bale, since this will prevent it from turning to ice. And that pretty much finishes this house. A last tip, what you can do is add a lot more snow layers around the entire area of the house, since this makes the terrain look a lot more custom and I think gives it a lot more detail. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the 3 starter houses. I know that these builds can be a lot more functional, but I really wanted to focus on the aesthetics of the houses and wanted to give you more ideas on how to decorate them. Let me know which one you liked the most and let me know what you would have changed. It's always interesting to see your feedback. If you really liked and enjoyed the video, think about leaving me a like, since it always motivates me to do more. Anyways guys, I'll see you in the next one and have a great day!